What's up, true believers, and welcome to episode 32 of the Marvel Mondays Initiative here on the Penultimate Conquest. Today's topic is our discussion of episode 1 and 2 of Hawkeye. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Eric Ginn, and I will be your friendly neighborhood host for the evening. Alongside me today is the Director of Operations himself, Ruben Guerrero. Ruben, how are you?
Listen, it's a beautiful day, Eric. It's
Yeah?
a beautiful day to be alive, you know?
Mm.
What a crazy 24 hours.
Yeah, you know what? The funny enough, Ruben, it's been a crazy 24 hours for multiple reasons. So you're probably talking about Spider-Man, right?
Oh, I'm absolutely talking about Spider-Man. That's all I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
I got Spider-Man, and with college football ending like a few days ago, college coaching carousels going crazy.
Sure.
One of our guests knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's
all
been
those
nuts.
field
So it has
goals.
been indeed a crazy 24 hours, Ruben.
Okay.
So I agree with you.
In what
So
universe, I'm sorry to cut you off. In what
uh,
universe did you think I was talking about football?
I don't know, Ruben. You kind
Okay.
of open. There was such an open-ended way. It's been a crazy 24 hours.
But you know
So
I don't watch sports. But anyway, I'm
hey,
sorry.
you could have had a fun weekend.
I did.
So all right. Before we get into housekeeping, we have some wonderful guests that we'd like to introduce. And Ruben, I've been wanting to get these two on the show for a long time, and I'm excited that they're finally here. First up is the co-founder of the Point in Progress show. They are a co-host of the MC University show, and we are so happy to finally have them here. Please welcome to the show, Cyclone MC. Cyclone, how are you doing?
Hello. Thank you for having me here.
I'm very. I just while I was getting the notes together for this, I listened to y'all's Spider-Man episode. It was very good. Um, just don't look up plots on IMDb, everyone. They're really bad. Like there
They're
needs to be
so
some vetting.
long. It's ridiculous.
It was like how they. Oh man, it was crazy. But we are happy to finally
That's
have you
a
here.
reoccurring bit for our show, so I'm glad you appreciate that.
Oh yeah. What do y'all do? Are y'all doing Hulk next, right?
I I believe so.
All right. That's gonna be a fun one. I'm ready to listen to that one. Um, Next up, my friend, and this guy loves Marvel. He loves sports. Obviously, so we get along that way. His usage, Ruben, of the MCU through these last few months of sports as memes has gotten me through some days. So please welcome to the show, Evan Sachs. Evan, how are you?
I'm super excited to be here and distract myself from the anxiety of figuring out who LSU's next head coach is going to be because
It's
I'm
ugh.
so tired of it. I want them to hire someone who'll be the coach for 20 years so I don't have to do this ever again.
Mhm.
The latest rumors suggest they want a 60-year-old. So let's not talk about that right now. Let's
We're
talk
not.
about great show on Disney Plus called Linda Cardellini. I mean Hawkeye.
Oh
Mhm.
God.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna begin into that. But yes, so excited to have you too. So let's get into a little housekeeping we got here. So if you are watching on YouTube, please consider dropping us a like and subscription, and don't forget to hit that bell to get notifications for our new shows, such as the Penultimate Game Show, the Cross Media Show, and Anime Nation. If you're watching this on Twitch, please use some of Jeffrey Bezos' money. You have a free Prime subscription. Why not give it to us? It's free. What are you going to use it for? I don't know. I was trying to think of a streamer, a famous streamer. I just completely just like they got enough money already. All right, so you have one free sub every month. Consider giving it to us. So tomorrow on the Cross Media Show, we are reviewing Arcane. That League of Legends show that everyone likes. Yeah, my favorite thing saying about that was please don't use this show to actually get into League of Legends. It's way worse than you can possibly imagine. So we might be having another Point in Progress host on that tomorrow. So find out. After the show tonight, Ruben, is this right?
No, sorry. After the show tomorrow. I should fix
So
that.
after the show tomorrow, Ruben's going to be doing another Pokemon packs opening because he's a child with a chilling rain booster box and maybe a shining fates. What is ETB? What is that,
It's
Ruben?
an elite trainer box, Eric. Come on. You gotta
Okay,
get with the kids.
sorry. And Wednesday, we are talking about the Game Awards predictions. Game Awards is next week. What's going to happen? We finally going to see another thing of Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever it's called. I
No.
don't know.
We find out that it's canceled.
Probably.
And I
Everyone
just
will be
laugh
real
at
sad.
everybody.
So remember, Extra Life is still happening. We could use your support to get us to our second goal of $500. It would mean so much to us. So if you have the ability to donate, please do. The link is somewhere on the screen. Maybe I'm pointing into it right now. Maybe
No.
it's over Ruben's face. Who knows? So, all right. Diving in some Marvel news. Oh, I see he's adding more. Doing another Mario Party stream, because we don't hate each other enough on this show. So we're going to do some Mario Party.
I mean, do you hate me?
I don't hate you, Ruben.
Oh, okay. The way you sounded, it sounded like you hated me.
It's okay, Ruben. I don't hate you. It's fine.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about some news. Specifically, Spidey Mania. For those of you who do not know, the No Way Home tickets launched last night randomly. It was supposed to be midnight, and then all the movie tickets places were like, hey, let's just do it whenever we want to. And everything was broken. I had to wait 2 hours sometimes just to get in line. It was insane. AMC CEO says its traffic was highest it's ever been. We've had some Star Wars movies and Endgame, so that's wild. Some scalpers are even selling them for $25,000.
It just goes to show you, Eric, how much people want Tobey Maguire back in the Spidey suit.
I'm telling you, it's oh man, I get chills just thinking about it when he shows up. So did anyone cop their tickets today? I got mine at around 3:00 this afternoon. So
I got mine.
Ruben, start with you.
I had a great experience.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it, Sly. Tell me about your experience.
I relaxed all day. I checked around noon. It was available. I got easy, good seats. No problems. This is the perks of living in the middle of nowhere.
That's true.
Just saying.
Evan, did you get your Spider-Man tickets?
I was trying last night when the drop happened, and Fandango was looking like it was working, but not really. So I just said, surely there will be some in the morning, and I went to bed. And then around 5:30 a.m., I woke up. It's not when I wake up, I just happened to
Your
wake
Spidey
up and be
senses
like,
were
you know what?
tingling.
Yeah, I was like, let me check, and I got them, no problem. But pretty neat. I don't know if everywhere is doing this. Normally, the first showings are 6 or 7 p.m. on Thursday. Baton Rouge, they have 3 p.m. showings on Thursday.
Yeah.
I
got
saw
it.
that.
Three.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that's going to be so much demand. They're adding as many showings as possible.
I think that's
In
exactly what it
in a
is.
few years, movies will open on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. But
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. My girlfriend is off work on Thursdays, so it works perfectly. So
It's
pretty
just,
smooth.
It's wild. It's wild that we've had Endgame and stuff, and I know Ruben, you were saying up in New York, tickets up there, it took a while for Endgame.
Eric,
But if it's 2 hours down here,
I had to wait
that's
4 hours
I'm just saying, for this one or Endgame.
for this.
Okay, do you realize you're where Spider-Man's from? Okay, so obviously it's gonna be a little bit longer.
But do you
So
understand? I was as soon as I saw the link in my email, I was in line for 30 minutes. I was
Okay.
good to go.
All right.
30 minutes turned into 4 hours.
Hey, you got your tickets. Some people don't.
I also got my NFT.
Quit being a JF. I was about to say quit being a JFK.
Oh
being a
wow!
JJJ.
Oh wow! I don't know if I want to be a JFK.
Oh
you
man.
know?
Anyway, so yeah, I got my tickets. So very excited. This is insane. The hype around this movie. Oh man, I can't. And then we get the Batman in 3 months too. So it's just this nice 4-month period where it's just wow, my two favorite characters getting very anticipated movies. Speaking of Spider-Man, Amy Pascal this morning, probably with all the news that this is probably the most on-demand movie in a long time, says that the partnership with Marvel will continue post No Way Home, and Holland could be back for a potential new trilogy. So 3 more movies, which would give him 6 solo movies. No one in the MCU has that yet. So
That's interesting. The article I read said that he will be coming back for 3 more.
okay, it's up in the air because I know Marvel Studios still said, "Oh, we got nothing planned." So I think Amy just said that this morning, strike it while the iron's hot.
I think Amy just wanted to cover her ass and make sure that she didn't get fired.
Probably. All right. So curious, what do you think if we get a new trilogy of Spider-Man movies? What are we doing, Ruben?
Honestly, Eric, I don't even know anymore. We could do essentially Spider-Verse, I guess, come to life, which is already coming to life with this movie, but like
Yeah.
an actual Spider-Verse. We could have 2 Spider-Men. This can turn into the Spider-Man PS4 game.
It could.
It could.
But-
Be my prediction. Yeah, you get an older college age Peter.
Yeah. Who
Then-
knows?
You get a younger Miles who looks up to him, and that's something, Peter in these movies has always been the one who looks up to the other Avengers, and I think him having to grapple with being a role model himself would be an interesting storyline and just something fresh. And I mean, I guess it's not fresh if everyone's played those games, but for general audiences, that would be something we haven't seen with Spider-Man, which I feel like every time every one of the MCU Spider-Mans has tried to say, we've seen Spider-Man so many times, what can we do that's different? Homecoming focused so much more on being in school. Far From Home took him out of New York. This one is going interdimensional. And so I think him being a mentor is the way you make it new and fresh.
Right.
That's well put right there. Sly, what do you think? What do you think's gonna? What would you like to see in the new trilogy?
I agree. I think that if they follow the game story, that would be a great development for that character. But my one request is my favorite character from those games is Haley, and I would love to see her in live action.
Oh, that'd
That
be
would
incredible.
make my life.
Absolutely.
She is one of the best characters of the game, so I agree. Yeah, let's bring Miles. Let's just do it.
I also want
Um,
to reference. I'm sorry, Eric. Does
Go
anybody
ahead.
know how old Miles is in the MCU? I know we get like the first hint of him in Homecoming. Does anybody remember?
It's a nephew. He didn't say an age or anything,
Okay.
so he
Alright.
could be like 10 or something
Post
like
blip
that.
or
He could be pretty
pre-blip?
young. What'd you say?
I said post blip or pre blip.
I don't know. That opens up a whole thing of logistics I don't want to think about right now because I'm ready to get to Hawkeye.
All right, we'll do this after Spider-Man.
Last bit of note here: Hawkeye producer Trin Tran, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, stated in an interview that Clint Barton has a future in the MCU after the show. So, do we want this? Do we want Clint in the MCU anymore, or is it like a let's get him out into the sunset? Let's out with the old, in with the new. Ruben, what do you think?
I honestly think that he still will be in the MCU, but it'll be like we've said before. He'll probably be training the Young Avengers.
Okay, Bye. What do you think?
I know it's a contrasting perspective, but I really don't appreciate the Deaf Clint, how they're like doing that here. So I'm fine with him going off retiring. He's fine. We don't need him here right now.
Okay, all right. Evan, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, depending on how this ends, I don't know where else you do take him.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, I mean, do you go, like, I think it's past time now, but, like, exploring more of him as Ronin, I think would be interesting. But I think Marvel is trying to move on from everything now is post-blip, and I think they want to stay that way. But I think just that scene was really cool, and I think exploring those times a little bit more would be interesting. But I feel like Marvel is kind of like, that seems a little been there, done that, even though it would be something new. So, and I mean, it would be PG-13, which makes it less interesting, because I think that's what was cool about that character is how gruesome and violent that was compared to everything else. So I honestly have no idea what he could do. So we'll see.
All right. That's all the news we got. So it is time to jump in and, excuse the pun here, take aim, Ruben, at the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye. I saw you groan a little bit right there, Ruben. It's okay. I did my job.
No, I just wanted to see if you wanted to do the icebreakers first before we get.
Oh, that's true. Totally forgot about the Icebreakers. We have guests again on the show. We haven't had that in quite a while.
Yeah.
So, all right, you two, we have some icebreakers to ask you guys. before we get into this. So, Sly, I'm gonna start with you. What is your favorite Marvel movie?
My favorite is Captain Marvel.
Okay. All right.
I know many people don't like that movie, but when I first started earlier this year, I started diving into Marvel. That was the first movie that I actually fell in love with. And so it's, held number one throughout my full Marvel journey. And so that movie has a special place in my heart. So, yeah.
Nice. Your favorite movie is your favorite movie. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter what anyone else says. So, Evan, what about you? What's your favorite Marvel movie?
Not gonna. I mean, Endgame and Infinity War are my top two, but that's like everyone's favorite, so
Hmm.
I'm not gonna do those. I would say my number three, which for the sake of this would be my favorite, would be the first Iron Man, and I think a lot of that is still just memories of seeing it for the first time, which was in theaters in 2008. And I remember like back then you had Raimi Spider-Man movies and the Fantastic Four movies, and something about this movie just felt so different tonally in what they were trying to do. Like they made a superhero who was a douchebag. We had never seen that before. I thought that was so cool, to see him. And like I think I don't appreciate what a good movie it is, just not in terms of its world building, but just being a movie. You took this character and you stuck him in a cave for the first 30 minutes. He doesn't even put on the suit, the actual suit, until like an hour in. I just think on so many levels it shouldn't work as well as it does, but it holds up just as well every time. So that's one that I would say, besides the obvious ones, that's my number one.
That's a respectable answer. I know Iron Man. Without Iron Man 1, we wouldn't have all this. So, you got to respect it. All right. So, second question. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to you. Favorite Marvel character?
Oh god. That's a hard one for me. There's so many interesting different characters that like I'm so new to like the fan experience for all of this. Um who's my favorite? I would say honestly, probably Darcy is my favorite. She's just so funny, and I really enjoyed WandaVision, and that was like my first real experience with this world, and so yeah, I just love her so much.
That's a great answer. I'm gonna give you another high. That's a great answer. I love Darcy. We love Darcy on this show, right, Ruben?
Uh, I'm
I
sorry,
would say
Sly.
my second is probably Sousa, which I know is another out there answer.
Hey, original answers. Not many people go for those. So, um, gotta respect that as well. All right, Evan, what about you? Favorite Marvel character?
Sly, I'm gonna go with a comedic sidekick character. It's Korg. I was thinking about all the movies. Who's my favorite? And I'm like, no, it's just Korg.
Yes,
It's just Korg.
I
That one
love
scene,
Cork.
even if it was just that one scene where they're in the little
Circle.
infinity
Yeah.
circle room, he might have been my favorite. But yeah, easy answer. When
Freaky
I
deaky
stop
circle.
overthinking it, it's a very easy answer.
Yeah. All right. Got two more questions here. Sly, what is your favorite Marvel moment? I'll just go in the MCU. What's your favorite MCU moment?
Can I be second for this one? I need to
Okay,
think
of course,
about
of course.
that.
Evan, what's your favorite Marvel moment?
Gonna just like the favorite movie. I'm gonna say not the obvious. Everyone teaming up in Endgame. I'm gonna say also like my first answer. I'm gonna say the end of Iron Man 1 when he says I am Iron Man, because again, as a kid, that just blew my mind. Like he just told the world his secret identity,
Yeah.
and then they cut the credits and play the song Iron Man. Oh come on, because that song had been in all the trailers and marketing, and then wasn't in the movie until the very end, and that just blew my mind. Seeing that in the theaters as a kid,
Man,
he did the biggest no for every superhero, and it was awesome.
Yep.
all right, Sly, coming back to you.
The first one that popped into my head is the sunrise from Black Panther. That was just so emotional and impactful, and that's like the first thing that pops into my head. So I'm gonna say that.
That's a good answer.
Very
We got
good
some
answer.
Family Feud stuff here. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. So, all right, last question. Evan was the one who actually brought this question to me, and I forgot to ask it when
We're doing Loki.
when he told me
Loki.
it was during Loki.
I don't know what
So,
this is.
Evan, would you date a variant of yourself?
Absolutely not. I would hate that person. I would be staring. I'd be like, "Oh my god, I do that? I act like that? Oh, no way. Absolutely not."
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with my sexual preferences or
100%
anything.
same.
Just no.
Absolutely not.
All right. Ruben, I forgot. Would you date a variant of yourself?
Listen, I just feel like if I were to, it would be the complete opposite of how I am. I'm very anxious, so like I
Would
would
be really depressed?
No. What? How do you get the opposite of
I'm
anxious?
just picking a variant.
No. I the opposite of anxious would be like playing it cool, and I would just like it would get under my skin. So I'm gonna have to say no as well.
I'm the worst. All right. So thank
you,
you
Eric.
for.
Eric, you have to answer that one.
Oh yes. Let's see. I think I would. I think the variation hopefully
Pervert.
be a little different. But yeah, I'd
True,
do
they
it.
are called variants.
Yeah. Well,
Yes, they
maybe
aren't
this
exactly
one.
the same.
I know I won't date the variant of me, Ruben. That's a Falcons fan. So that's.
That's the where you draw the line.
That's the deal breaker right there. Like, no, I
Wow.
can't move past this. I can't move past this. I'm
Wow.
sorry. I could have multi-million dollars. Like, nope, can't do it. Line in the
Wow,
sand.
That's
All right.
crazy.
So thank y'all for answering these questions. It's time to get actually into Hawkeye here. Well, we're all here to talk about, but apparently we got some thoughts by Christian we got to play. Right, Ruben?
Oh, I was gonna play that after we all give.
All
our
right.
initial thoughts.
So, Ruben, what are your initial thoughts of the first two episodes?
Listen, this show has very. I don't know how to put this into words. I guess it surprised me. You know, I wasn't expecting to fall in love with these characters already. You know, WandaVision took a couple episodes to figure out what the hell was going on. Loki, I was bored for most of it up until the very end, and then Hawkeye, Falcon and Winter Soldier. I was like, I'm all in. You know, buddy cop show. That's all I want in the MCU. But this show, I was like, do we really need this? Like, why can't they just save this for a movie? But I'm kind of glad that they didn't. I kind of feel like I already know the plot of the show based off of these two, like how it's gonna end. But I'm okay with that. You know, it's New York, Christmas time. I'm fine with it. I will say, Evan, this show needs a little more Linda. That's all it's missing.
There are 4 episodes left. We don't know what's promised.
Let's hope. Let's
So
hope.
It has time to redeem itself.
I saw this on Twitter and I figured we'll just get it and go into it. Ruben, does this show do a good job of showing Christmas time in New York so far?
I mean, no, they're LARPing in Central Park.
Okay. All right.
Like, why would you show us LARPing in Central Park?
So, because I see that Evan has some pretty anti-New York thoughts.
Yeah,
So,
I saw that. And
yeah.
Evan, I got my eye on you.
Oh,
all right?
jeez.
So, we'll get into those. Sly, what did you think of the initial first 2 episodes?
I've already fallen in love with Alaqua Cox. And I knew that was going to happen, but I love her so much. I was so excited to see more. I was so excited. Echo was the first comic character whose story I read like all the way through. So I love the character. I'm so excited to see deaf plus indigenous actor. It's just amazing. I'm so excited to see what they do with her. So that's
They do
most of my
tease.
thoughts.
They do tease her really well because I'm just like, okay, what are we gonna do here?
Yeah.
It's red. So like Daredevil, Ruben, like Daredevil. So,
Oh,
Evan,
boy,
what'd you think of the first two episodes? Just initial thoughts.
Yeah, overall, I really liked it. Haley Steinfeld, burgeoning Gen Z icon, was fantastic. Of course, carrying it so far. Jeremy Renner, I thought I'm interested. Like he looks, I can't tell if he's playing Clint Barton really well as being tired and not wanting to be there, or if Jeremy Renner is just over this character and doesn't really want to be in Marvel movies anymore. Like I kind of blends the line, you know. I'm like, I can't tell if this is a great performance or if he's mailing it in. I guess it works. Convenient that the script had him kind of tired of this shit. So, but overall, yeah, Haley Steinfeld was great. I like the setting it. We'll get more into it with the plot. I think seems a little obvious where they're going with some things, but maybe that's misdirection. So I don't know. But okay. So real quick on New York, since this was my first thought from like the very first shot. I'm like, look, I thought we were making great progress. We had Ant-Man and Shang-Chi from San Francisco. We had Black Panther from Wakanda. We had all these space movies. But once again, we're back with every single freaking superhero being from New York. I get it. That's where Stan Lee was from. But, like, come on. Can we switch it up a little bit? I'm not a comics person. Is Kate Bishop from there in the comics? Anybody know?
Yes, but she
Okay.
moves to the West Coast for West Coast Avengers.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll see her like go to LA or whatever soon. But yeah, she's from there.
Absolutely. Like every Gen Z icon moving out west to become an influencer is Kate Bishop's future.
Wow.
But overall, New York, I'm just like, oh, here we go. And then at the beginning, I was like, all right, she needs to see Hawkeye to have her inspiration. Fine, I get that. The other part that really I was like, get out of here, was when they're at the dinner. Waiter is like, no, we got it, we covered. And I'm like, of course, he's an Avenger. He saved the universe, and he doesn't say, you saved the universe. He says, you saved our city. I'm like, is this dude really still talking about that Battle of New York 10 years ago after the blip? It's
Listen,
like,
Evan, I'm sorry, but like you don't understand. New York is just like one big giant community, okay? You think Louisiana is again, Eric, and I'm sorry, Evan, no offense. But
Let's just
like
go.
you guys got nothing on us, all right?
In terms of what?
In terms of community. We're strong, all right?
I
We
don't
saved
know.
Spider-Man not once but twice,
You
okay?
saved Spider-Man?
Yeah. If you recall the
Okay.
Raimi we saved him from being killed by Doc Ock, you know? And
Oh, that was you on that subway.
yeah, I mean, I was there. I was there.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't fucking spill the beans on who Peter Parker
they
was.
saved him.
Okay?
Doc Ock, like, immediately, like, just
Listen.
parted the sea of New Yorkers.
You want to get to Spider-Man, you got to get through us, okay?
They did pretty
You know, I heard
easily.
Spider-Man's a Jets fan. Oh, he's fucking right here.
No.
He's right here. Oh my
No.
God.
No.
Get him out of there.
But that line from the waiter, I just thought was so ridiculous. Like, he saved the universe, but he saved New York. That's more important, you know? This fucking guy, he saved New York.
I don't want to take it to dark places. I'm just going to leave it
Okay.
at that, okay?
All right.
That's fine.
So I really liked the first two episodes. I thought the second episode was definitely stronger than the first episode. We'll get into some stuff in here in the first episode I didn't like that much. But overall, I think it's a strong start to the show. It's a shame it's only 6 episodes, but we'll see how we get there. So, it's time to hear Christian's thoughts, Ruben.
Okay.
Hey, Pen Conk crew, it's me, your favorite Mexican from Portland, Christian, here with my 1-minute review of Hawkeye episodes 1 and 2. What up? We made it. I like it so far. There's a real focus on characters that we really haven't gotten in the MCU in a minute, so I like that. I think the MCU is probably at its best when it's establishing characters or fleshing out ones that are already existing. Not that action sequences aren't not good, but I think MCU is at its best when it's supplementary to dialogue. I love context, so the show opening with young Kate in 2012 I thought was awesome because we got the everyday perspective. We don't get enough of that in the MCU. Of course, Haley Steinfeld, great. She's likable, she's the underdog, and she has great rapport with Hawkeye. Okay, speaking of Hawkeye, yes, in my opinion, what makes the show so meaningful is that Clint just wants to go home and be with his kids and his wife. That's awesome. We spend time seeing what like his relationship looks like with his kids, and that rocks. I hope the hearing impairment subplot in some way becomes more important, but yeah, I don't know. I like the dynamic surrounding him, so I hope we get more of that. I'm a little trepidatious for the rest of the show. I know bigger players are coming in the next 4 episodes. Yeah, but if they can keep it focused, I think it'd be very good. Excited to hear your thoughts. Shout out to the Katniss Everdeen joke. Thought that was pretty funny. Hey, Pen Conk.
Okay, there you go.
All right. Talked about a good stepping off point. Did we like the use of the Battle of New York as a stepping stone for how Kate gets to where she is? Sly, I'm gonna start with you first. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I appreciated having the different perspectives for that event. Like, we obviously see it through the like hero's perspective typically, but seeing more like the ground level everyday person perspective,
Penthouse level.
that is just, yeah, well, yeah, but it was different enough that it felt more human, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's just, what do you do when you see that? I know, like, we see all these movies, sci-fi and everything, like, oh, aliens came down, sure, whatever, here's a beer. But, if they're attacking your home, obviously it's going to be a bit hectic. So I guess, like, seeing someone step up was really inspirational to Kate, especially in a time she was really scared. So I'm sure that did have a good effect on her, and it did. So, Evan, did you like the Battle of New York as a plot usage here?
I'm gonna be a hater again. This is what, the 4th time we've seen the Battle of New York? Like, come on, they had other adventures, didn't they? But
New
when I
York.
was thinking about it today, there's one change that I think would have made it a lot cooler for me. When you started, the first shot is New York, and it says 2012, and me being a nerd, I'm like, we're gonna see the Battle of New York again. Like, like they kind of telegraphed it. What I was thinking today, I think it would have been so cool if there was no 2012 time card, and you jump in to New York, and I would have seen a young Kate and be like, oh, we're gonna learn about her backstory with her parents. And like, you hear that whoosh outside. Like, I would not have assumed we were going to see the Battle of New York if they hadn't put the year on there. But I think if wouldn't have telegraphed it, and they didn't telegraph it to people who aren't insane, obsessive people like us, but to like casual audiences. But I think they didn't say it at all. That would have been a really cool reveal that it's happening outside.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, when it started, I was like, okay, we're going to see the Battle of New York again. But I did think the alternate angle of that one Hawkeye shot they do over and over of him jumping off the building, seeing like that from the other angle, that was pretty cool with her in the background.
Seeing it non-slow motion.
Yeah. I have 2 quick comments about the dad. I hope I'm not jumping ahead, but I want to get into it. First of all, that fucking dude ain't dead. We did not even see a hint of a body. We've all seen enough movies. That dude isn't dead. If you don't see the death happen in a movie, he's not dead. And if it's a Fast and Furious movie, even if you see the death happen, they might not be dead.
They'll be brought
We've
back
learned
by
that
Nas.
much. So that was the first thing I want to say about him. I will be shocked if he does not return, because they literally did not show him dying at all. They showed rubble and then running away. The thing I want to say about him, does anybody know who this actor is? Brian Darcy.
Yes!
Hey, Sly,
Can we
please
talk about that?
Hey, Sly, I'm sure you know based on your reaction. This man was nominated for a Tony for a lead in a musical. Sly, tell our friends here what that musical was.
Was it Shrek?
Eric or Ruben? Yes. This man was
Shrek the musical?
on Broadway. He's now in the MCU.
I didn't know if that was his only nomination, but yeah.
I was looking at it earlier. That is
Shrek, and he was the first king for Hamilton.
Yes, He was
before it went
briefly,
to
yes.
Broadway.
All right.
Interesting.
That's
The
that is
other
an interesting comment.
I saw it, and I had seen like the cast list before and forgotten about it, but in the movie I was like it's Shrek. I don't know any of the songs of Shrek, but my 12-year-old cousin was in a junior production of Shrek the Musical over the summer. That was very good, and I'm assuming it's the same
It's a
songs.
great
So-
musical.
The production I saw was great. I'm sure the Broadway one is also great, considering he was nominated and now has a Hollywood career. But I wanted to shout that out there, that a canon version of Shrek is in the MCU. It's definitely not dead.
Maybe that's why they're in this penthouse, is because of all the showings of Shrek. He got super popular. That's why
That's
they can
what he
afford
did.
such luxury.
Sold the swamp and said, I gotta go be a family man now.
Maybe
So,
he's
'cause-
not really dead, and maybe he's the reason why we got a Captain Rogers musical.
Yeah, so like apparently the Shrek the Musical, he was on Broadway. That was on Broadway from 2008 to 2009. So it's 2012. So it's possible.
Yeah.
Funny, yeah, he was living high at this time.
So
Although it
um,
did say
The
that.
much
Sorry, go ahead.
the much darker role that he was in was he was the dad in 13 Reasons Why.
Oh
That's
yeah.
also, I was gonna say, if he was who I didn't see season 2, but I heard people talk about it. Apparently, he walked out and remarried. So not cool, Shrek. That was a very shitty thing to do. Anyway, that's those are all my comments on the dad.
that's
For
great.
for 3 minutes of screen time, we have a lot to say about him. Clearly, we've been talking about him longer than he was in the show so far.
Probably, yeah, that's true.
I made
go
the
ahead.
same comment about him not being dead. I think there's a possibility that they're gonna reverse the characters from the comics,
Mhm.
because if you know that the comics, the mom dies and then is back later. So I'm thinking there's a possibility they're just gonna switch those storylines, and I think that'd be interesting. I don't know if they're gonna like commit to that, but we'll see.
Because Matt Fraction is a consultant on this
Yeah,
show.
I saw that.
So
as well.
that may happen indeed. So I thought Battle of New York usage was good for the time, but I think Evan made a good strong point there. Not seeing the 2012, that would have probably hit harder for me. I have here, I mean, we've all talked about it. Haley Steinfeld right out of the gate is just so fun as Kate. In the first just scene of her trying to hit the bell, but because we're going to talk about her later, I just want to get to the Rogers musical because we got to. We got to get to it. So in the trailers for this was one of the most talked about things for the show was there's a Rogers musical. Oh my God, we need to see it. So interesting. I like how they use this, obviously silly retelling of the Battle of New York to really go into Clint's trauma and PTSD that he's got. So when he sees Nat, the actress for Nat, he just goes like fizzles out and everything. And then Marvel will be getting my therapy bill because when he saw that little girl dressed as Nat, I'm like, you're killing me right now. Oh my God. And go into the bathroom. Like, what do you do as an Avenger when you see people write on the urinal like Thanos was right? Like, what the fuck, man?
Oh my
That's
God.
fucked up.
I saw that and I was like, wow, they went there.
It's like, what do you do? Like, you fought to bring all these people back and all. Like, cause it was just for me that was the most emotional part of this whole first episode was during this silly musical, Clint's going through so much. And so Ruben, what were your thoughts on the musical? Just whatever you want to talk about, really, with it.
Honestly, I hope they pull Hamilton and just release the whole thing like as if it was a real musical. Just put it on Disney Plus. You already technically have it, so just put it on Disney Plus. I would love to see that. Yeah, the whole thing. It's funny that you said that the first episode was didn't hit as hard as the second episode did for you. This was very like emotionally heavy for me. Like poor Clint, and he walks out, and his daughter's just like, "Daddy, we just walked out halfway through." He's like, "I already know how it ends, sweetie." Like, fuck, Jesus Christ. But yeah, they perfect. You know, way to give us here's what's happening with Clinton now. Here's where he's at, and all that stuff. I really appreciated it.
Evan, let's go with you. What did you think of the Rogers musical just section?
I liked it. I swear I like these episodes, but I realize I have like nothing written down but small little gripes, and my little gripe here is those kids are way too well behaved sitting in the musical. Like even if the
Absolutely.
songs are catchy, like musicals are long, and those kids are just sitting there like eyes glued to it. Like no, maybe this is the opening number and they just got there and are fascinated, but overall I was like, those
If-
kids are way too good.
If this is the
Linda
opening
Cardellini is the
number,
greatest mother ever, which I would buy. That's a reasonable explanation.
I really hope that's not the opening number. That's like
We had a lot of discussion about what the timing was for that song
Yeah.
yesterday.
I think
It
they're like
was-
halfway through. You know, like right before
It
intermission.
Oh,
It had to be before intermission.
Yeah,
because it was way too empty for that to be intermission. But yeah, we discussed that length yesterday.
It's got to be towards the beginning because they're probably going to go into Winter Soldier stuff and when he's on the run, and then with a
big
beard.
number was World War II, I bet.
Yeah, I figured they're like giving an introduction about like who Steve Rogers is. And
They
all that
did
stuff.
put that song on Spotify and everywhere. Like the actual song they sang, it
Oh,
is on
sweet.
Spotify.
Okay.
So
It's 4 minutes long.
And then one of the guys singing was one of the main dudes from Rent. I thought that was pretty
Mhm.
cool.
Adam Pascal, he was
Recognize,
involved.
yeah,
He was on stage as well.
I thought that was pretty
recognize them, but I'm like, I know these are legit Broadway dudes because
Mhm.
Marvel does it, and I know that later in the episode that was a legit auctioneer there. Like
Mhm.
Marvel has learned, like just get the people who know this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
neat.
Oh wait, I have one more thing I wanted to say about this scene. I just realized this, how earlier I was complaining about how the waiter was more excited that Hawkeye was the guy from the Battle of New York and not the guy who saved the universe. Remember this scene with the bathroom? New Yorkers probably love Thanos. You know, they were like, "Oh, this fucking guy, he got rid of half these people.
I'm gonna
He's
stop
here
you
on
right
the
there.
subway now.
He got rid of all
No,
the Mets fans.
no,
It's
no.
about time.
We don't have to watch the Mets finish fourth in division anymore."
I think that's the exact opposite. Because if that's the case, if you get rid of half of New York, those subway fares are going up, buddy. All right, that $2 slice of pizza is not going to cost you $4.
Bing bong. Just none of that anymore, Ruben. So
Alright.
we don't get any
Just
of that.
But there is still more.
Was
That's
done.
the thing.
There's still going to happen. Yeah.
At least one New Yorker likes Thanos.
I mean,
Surely more
this
of
is
them.
true. This is true.
Yeah. I do like what was mentioned earlier. I do like the focus on the kids here, especially the daughter. You know, because that was the first kid who he saw disappear at the time. So I do like that there's the focus on her, because I didn't really care about the other two boys. I was like, okay, all right, cool. Let's focus on the relationship between Clint and his daughter, because that was the most interesting.
I
so
forget
far.
he had somebody older than the girl. The oldest? I totally forgot about him.
I'm trying to remember the Endgame opening now, because I
The
remember her,
Endgame-
the little one.
Boys
Yeah.
were throwing the baseball, and she was practicing.
Yeah, this is true.
But
This is true.
I guess you need to go back to Age of Ultron to look closely at was the boy or the girl older. I never really paid attention to that. I
Yeah.
guess you know.
Yeah.
I think that they can't decide how many kids he has and how old they are. It feels like it varies every time.
That sounds about right.
But yeah, the girl has classic eldest daughter syndrome, and you see that over and over again here. It's like they're trying to show he's a good dad or whatever, but like the way they interact is just so awkward. I didn't feel connected to that.
And that's still Joe Russo's daughter is playing Hawkeye's kid, I think, still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a question about this. If we remember from Endgame, those two kids that come up to Hulk to get his autograph, is she not the same kid?
Discussion. So no, so that's I remember this. That is
'Cause they look-
another one of his daughters who
Okay.
looks just like his other
I was
daughter
just
who
gonna
dies
say.
at the beginning.
Okay,
It's
all right.
like, man, let someone else's fucking kids cameo.
I was gonna
Joe.
say because
You're
they look
confusing people.
very similar.
I have a note here. It took way too long, but at the 21-minute and 6-second mark, we finally get Linda Cardinelli in this show.
Finally.
And it's about time.
Can we just? Give
I
her
was
her own
really
show?
scared that they were split because, like, oh, he's mommy and stuff, and like talking to her. I'm like, oh my god, are they split right now? I was
Wasn't in the trailers, yeah.
I was terrified. It's like, oh no, no. And of course, as I'm watching, Tessa says, oh no, clearly they're still together. I'm like, well, they did it terribly.
Yeah.
I was thinking they were split. I didn't need that right now. So
Not
it was-
in this case, but I'm sure there were some post-blip problems with some people moving on, some
Mhm.
people. Luckily, we avoided it here, but that would be an interesting Disney Plus show. Split marriage story. You know, you came back and you had a new man. What about me? You know.
Blip divorces.
Yeah.
That's the show you want.
And it's just each episode is two different characters. Yeah.
I had to move
It's-
on.
it's an
I was
anthology.
disintegrated.
Exactly.
That's literally the whole story
not
for
my
each
fault at all.
episode.
No, I have. This is a little off topic. I have one super dark thought regarding the blip, and then we'll get back to Hawkeye. I promise. I'm like, there's at least one person who definitely was so depressed after the blip that they took their own life. Did they come back when Hulk snapped? I feel like Hulk should make an exception for them. Again, this is something that could be explored. He won't allow it.
That
but
is a question.
surely
I'm sorry,
some
I didn't
fan
catch
fiction
that
out there
first
that would
part. What
definitely-
was it?
Well, there are surely some people that survived the blip but had so much survivor's guilt that they took their own lives and are no
Oh.
longer with us. Did they
Hmm.
come back?
I
You
don't
know?
think so.
No, because they wouldn't have gotten snapped.
And
Yeah.
that fucking sucks for the people who came back and said, "Where's my husband?" And they're like, "Oh, he was so sad with it." Well,
Yeah. I
they
think
still had some work to do. Not
Thanos
everyone
didn't
was
think
popping off-
logistics.
everyone was
I would
popping off
say-
fireworks like Wakanda.
I would say if I remember correctly, the line to Hulk is just remember everybody who vanished that moment comes back.
I remember like Kevin Feige talking about what about people in planes when the pilot disappeared, and he was like, they come back. So I think he makes exceptions.
I mean, they
Yeah.
come back, but they're still in that plane, you know?
Hey, well, the pilot's back too, so they're all good.
Well, this is true, yeah.
And
There's an
I
NBC
love-
show about
I love
this.
how we also have two different variations of what the blip did for people. We got WandaVision's super serious one, and we got Spider-Man's. The band is right back in the middle of the court.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Oh, man.
I have a thing here, and I'm just gonna tie it in with the next episode with Kate here. Did we feel as though that Kate was just a little too aggressive on things? Like, you know, she can do bow and arrow, and she knows martial arts, and now she's like, I have to lead this murder investigation. I have to be super hardcore into this. I'm gonna question everything. You're lying to me, stepfather.
I don't-
You're
My
lying.
question is, would you ask that if she was a man?
No, I wouldn't. I seriously, anyone would just be okay. You know how to do bow and arrow, and you know how to fight. Okay, does this mean you have to go around and try to solve everything on your own? It's strange. I like Kate Bishop, but that was the one part where she was just. I don't know. It's strange.
I'm gonna go with.
I'm gonna rethink this now. I'm gonna shut my camera off real quick and think about this.
Don't
Ruben, you
shut off
take
the
over.
camera. Don't shut off the camera. Okay, it's gonna ruin the whole thing. Anyway, I think that it's more of along the lines of like she wants to make sure that she can prove herself to Hawkeye, like she is capable of doing the job that they all do, you know, that the Avengers do. So she is, yeah, she's getting a little intense, but like she's also seeing a lot of shit that like, what the hell is stuff's not adding up. Again, you see a very, very black market auction happening, and your soon to be stepfather's there with his cousin. you don't know what to think, you know. So he's definitely hiding something.
All right, you're right. I take it back. I take it back. I didn't even think about that.
I think also building on that, like when she is an archery and martial arts expert to some degree, she's like conquered every challenge she's faced, and now she's like hungry to do something more and put those skills to use. It's like training for a marathon and then not actually running it and just sitting in your basement. She wants to go out and skills to use, and like Ruben said, she idolizes Hawkeye. She's like, well, he does superhero business. I'm gonna go too. I think it fits her character, and like
Okay.
I think that whole bell tower scene, that's just being a daredevil. She needs that adrenaline rush. And this is it. Competitions don't do it for her anymore. She needs something real.
She's tired of being first, you know.
Yeah. I I have two thoughts about this, and one of my biggest problems with the show so far is that they set it up as like a mentor-mentee relationship and not like equals like we see with Fraction, his comics. So that like changes their like dynamics, right? But at the same time we see her character trying to like establish herself, but also seeing like hints about her like future like becoming a PI. And I think that's really interesting to see, like they're trying to like establish that while also like setting up who she is as a character. um and so that's interesting, but I don't know.
Those are good points right there. I didn't even think about it. I haven't read the Fraction run in a long time, so it's been a sec. So speaking of Ronin, this is the last thing I want to talk about, like mainly episode one. How traumatic must it have been to see the Ronin outfit on the news, like in front of your kids, like especially like to be reminded of the darkest moment of your life, pretty much, and your kids are right there and like, oh, Dad, look, that person's so cool. It's like, oh my god.
A ninja on TV.
Additionally, how does the wife know about that suit?
I feel like he told her everything.
What is her like government like clearance level?
I don't think she has any. I just feel like, well, he's retired, so like
These are my questions.
this is
She's
very.
Linda Cardinelli. She uses her.
She's got the
detective
highest
skills.
clearance.
She knows
Yeah.
everything.
She's got the highest clearance. She's above the
She was
president.
the one that built that farm for them, huh?
Mhm.
So she knows a bit.
Yeah.
So next point I want to get to, like going over to episode two. Evan, you mentioned it earlier. I think it'd be interesting to talk about. Is Jeremy Renner acting well, or is he really just tired of this shit?
One of them, and I can't tell, and I don't think we have to tell, because I think especially like the LARPing sequence in particular, like it works perfectly, because I think that is exactly how Hawkeye would act, but he's just so low energy, but and like I can't tell the difference, but I think it works for what the writers and director were looking for.
That's a good thought. Sly, what about you? Do you think he's doing a good job here, or
I think he's doing a good job for what they asked of him.
Okay.
But I don't appreciate what they're asking, if that makes sense. Like
yeah, go
he's
into a little bit more of that.
grumpy and upset about everything and not happy to be there. And I get that, but I don't know. That character, in my experience, is typically just so comedic and funny and enjoyable, like reading experience. But and also I have so many problems with his representation of deafness. But that's another point. So I think like he's doing a good job like acting like he doesn't want to be there, and I don't know if it's cuz that's what he's feeling or not, but yeah, I think that's like what they were like going for with that story.
You mentioned that earlier, and I wrote it down right here. I want to talk about like, uh, I would like to know more about it. What are the issues you do have with his deaf representation that they're going with in the show?
It doesn't feel accurate.
Okay.
So I know there's the deaf community is very diverse and we have many different experiences. And from my experience, I am also a late deaf person,
Mhm.
same as this character, right? I am obviously younger, so that like changes my perspective. But the way they're representing the hearing loss, especially with like the sound design, is not great. And many people just like didn't realize that that was what they were trying to do with the sound until he makes a comment about the hearing aid. But the other thing is the dialogue was obviously like written by a hearing person, and it doesn't feel like comments that we would actually like make, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah.
Like the way he's talking about his hearing loss and his experience with deafness just doesn't feel genuine, and it's
So
awkward and it's stilted and it's just not fluid, if that makes sense.
it does, and I want to get your thoughts more on Echo later because I know you really liked Echo because I'm not well versed in Echo. So yeah, because I think with the phase four we got going on, representation is obviously a bigger deal than obviously what it's been with the last three phases, and I think obviously that's for the better. You look at the last few shows, Marvel has made strides and improvements to make sure that all forms, everybody is represented well, and if I even think about that while watching the show, his explanation of the deafness, I was like, oh, okay, I guess that would make sense, if you've gotten a lot of explosions around you. But I didn't even think about it that way, that it could have been, a problem for some viewers. So thank you
Yeah.
for explaining that. So the LARPing I thought was fun. I did enjoy the LARPing, especially the part where he's like, and I fought Thanos.
Yeah.
Uh,
I In general, I enjoyed it, but just felt a little bit too long.
mhm.
Just a little bit. I feel like it could have been a little bit snappier and it would have been amazing. But like in general, I really enjoyed that concept.
Ruben, why could this not work in Central Park?
It's wintertime. It's supposed to be
Mhm.
snowing.
Coats.
They're in a suit of armor. Anyway, I just don't. I feel like this should not have been a part of the plot at all. Like he should have just been um, a firefighter in New York, and he's in the firehouse with the suit on, and he's trying to impress everybody. That could have been it. It could have been 2 minutes, 2 minutes that we could have focused on this, but instead we got a whole thing about how Clint is just tired and he's willing to do whatever it takes to get that suit back.
Well, for me, I think is when the guy's like, "This is like the greatest day of my life." Like he got to quote unquote kill an Avenger. You know, put that against Hawkeye, who's literally gone to the edge of the universe and fought all of these extraterrestrial beings and everything. Went back in time, and this kid's LARPing day is the greatest day of his life. I thought it was fun.
That could have been like a blooper.
Yeah.
During the credits, just show this.
Okay, Evan, what did you think of the LARP?
It was fine. I think Grills is a strong minor character name. Like if you have a character like this who's just popping in for a Grills, that's a good name. Don't make him Jonathan or some shit. Grills, like that's effective. Um, that yeah, I agree with Sly. It dragged on just a little bit, but overall, and this is where Jeremy Renner not giving a shit, I thought was perfect. It set the stage wonderfully. Has anyone here participated in a LARP? You comment on the accuracy of it. No shame. I
I mean, I've been to some Renaissance fairs where they take it really seriously like that, and kind
Renaissance.
of, yeah.
Because I thought like, isn't maybe I'm wrong, but isn't it like supposed to be very period accurate? Like this Ronin suit, like
Is not even close.
how did he get through the gates?
Maybe it's Star Trek weekend.
I think he's like a
Maybe.
big name for the LARPing
Grills.
I guess
community.
Yeah.
No, for the LARPing community. You know, he had his own.
he
You know, I
special
guess.
treatment for being a vet, but
What's that whole?
No.
It was the whole video thing where people were asking him, "Oh, when are you gonna get that new costume?" Like, boom, he's got it.
yeah, he does.
I do want to add something to the Jeremy Renner like acting thing. Like, I feel like the character I feel like he is acting very well, and I think he's blurring the lines of how well he's acting. You know, like for me, when I think of a great actor acting at his prime, is Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street, and to this day I still can't tell if Leonardo DiCaprio was not acting and playing his real self or playing the character. You know, I know, like, you know, he has that Instagram thing where he's a very humanitarian person, but if you bump into Leonardo DiCaprio down in the street, you're gonna tell me he's not gonna tell you to fuck off?
Gonna take a 22-year-old model out on a yacht?
Yeah.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah. So I
he
think Jeremy Renner is acting. You know, we also have to realize, like, he's been through a lot of shit in the past couple.
Jeremy Renner?
No, well, Clint. Like, the reason why he doesn't want to deal with any of this, like, he just wants to go home. He's been through a lot of shit. He lost his best friend. He almost lost his family. He had that whole 5-year period where he was going very dark. So, like, cut him some slack, guys.
I was about to say I would go that way too if my app got destroyed after I put so much time into it.
Jeremy Renner app. That's what I was gonna bring up when you said Jeremy Renner's had a rough past few years. Yeah, the Jeremy Renner app shut down. They don't show those Jeep commercials anymore with his single, with his LP.
Yeah.
Either way.
All
right.
Yeah, he's over it.
So obviously we get in the episode to the part where, you know, Clint and Kate are teaming up together. I laughed really hard when she fell through the ceiling. I thought that was a funny gag. Like, where is Kate Bishop?
Great.
I'm like, that was really good. I enjoyed that. And it just looks a lot of fun. So
Can we talk about the tracksuit bros?
Oh my god.
I love them.
They are my favorite part of the show.
They're my favorite characters. They're amazing. So perfect. Did you see the picture from the premiere? They look so happy to be there.
Did they wear the tracksuits to the premiere?
They did not. They wore suits.
Sly, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret.
It's great.
The tracksuit mafia is a real thing, and I think those guys are actually part of it.
And maybe New York isn't so bad.
We'll see.
I did like how he talked to Linda Cardinelli about the tracksuit mafia, like, oh, they're rough. I should know all this stuff.
Listen, he's an open vault with her.
Yeah. So last thing in these episodes, I want to talk about the introduction of Echo. And Sly, I would like you to take over a little bit right here, because obviously you are the most excited about all of, like, right of the four of us right now. I mentioned Echo, and you start dancing.
I would be right back.
Where do you think we're going with her? Because, like I said, I don't know much about her. So if you could just instruct the class of where could we go with this character?
There's so many options. So Echo, if you don't know, her character is, her dad was an indigenous man who worked for Kingpin, and Kingpin had him killed. Anyways, and then kind of like adopted her or whatever. So she worked under Kingpin for a while. So there's a chance to maybe see him in this. I don't know. But also later, I think in New Avengers, you see Echo actually takes on Ronan. So there's a very real possibility of seeing that develop soon.
What are
Which
her abilities again?
she's kind of like a taskmaster,
Okay.
and she can copy abilities, seeing something once, and she can pick it up. She
Okay.
becomes an expert at like piano and other instruments, I think, but also copying fighting styles. Um, she's typically from Daredevil comics, but yeah, she's really interesting character.
And obviously, they must like the direction this character goes because they picked up a whole series for her, which is crazy. Like for a character we know nothing about, we are here's a show for her. Because obviously, like I know Ironheart and all the new stuff coming out, but Echo's like I know nothing about, and she's getting a show. Okay, all right, let's see how this goes. You did mention
I'm really
Kingpin, and
excited.
there are rumors that Kingpin is showing up in this show, or the MCU equivalent of. I don't know if it's going to be Vincent, but apparently Kingpin is showing up in the show.
I could see that. I also think we're possibly gonna see Madame Mask with the
Okay.
relation with Kate's mother. So
Huh?
we could see that. And so those are the two that I'm kind of thinking about for like the main like villains for this. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Um, Final question I have for y'all: how do these opening episodes stack up with the other Disney Plus shows we've had so far? Evan, I'm gonna start with you.
Um, I like it because I think this one had a lot more. The other shows were mostly in the first episodes characters we already knew, where this one, the introduction of Kate Bishop makes it feel very fresh. Even though like we still have Jeremy Renner, who we've known for lots of movies, Kate Bishop, one of the other shows, the first episodes, except for Owen Wilson and Loki, but he still isn't really a protagonist, where Kate Bishop is one of the two protagonists here. I thought that made it pretty strong, where it did feel like this is 50% an origin story. So I thought that made it pretty good. I have no idea how to rank the opening episodes, but I would say this is near the top of the ones we've gotten so far.
Sly, what do you think? Well, how does this stack up with the other Disney Plus shows?
It's interesting because I have a very different perspective with WandaVision being kind of like my introduction for Marvel in general. So I watched that knowing almost nothing about those characters. So it feels very much like that for me. Um, but comparing, I typically prefer the more uh grounded stories compared to the more magic stories. So I'm really enjoying this. Like I really enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But I'm excited to see how it progresses.
That's it. So you're fairly new to the MCU. So
Yes.
it's just this
Yes,
year's your
I
first year.
am.
Okay. All right. Um. Uh. Oh my God, I lost my train of thought. Ruben, tell me. Answer the question. Where does it stack up for the other ones for you?
So I think we have to separate the MCU shows already. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is the fourth one, and we already have to separate the different, uh, I guess, factors. One is the well, where the fuck does this go from here factor,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one is like, okay, this is some cool shit. I'll see how this story goes. So obviously, for me, I'm gonna put Falcon and Winter Soldier with Hawkeye in the same like okay, cool shit. I'm very interested to see where it goes. I think I kind of already know where the story is leading to without having read the Fraction comics. Um, we can get into that a little after I have an updated theory, Eric.
Okay.
So
That you put here on the dock.
yes.
Do you want to talk about it?
We can get after that. Well, after everybody else goes.
It's just me left, so
Then there you
they
go.
went. Yeah, I still think Loki is still my favorite pilot or like first episode of all the shows. But this one's really strong. So a good strong showing for Hawkeye, I think. So Ruben, tell us about these theories you have.
So we kind of already like touched with the Kingpin aspect, the rumors. Somebody had put out that the Avengers Tower, you know how we've all been suggesting that Fantastic Four has bought it for for the Baxter Building. What if Wilson Fisk bought it for Fisk Tower?
He's got the money.
He's got the money and the power.
Mm-hmm.
And the little theory I have here going so far from these 2 episodes for where the show's headed, I already feel like I know Kate's mom is the head of the black market auction. Like she's essentially, pulling the strings from behind the curtain. That's why we see that interaction with her and Armand the Third. Like him getting upset and Kate trying to figure out what the hell is happening. And she's just like, I have no idea. He's just an old upset man.
Can I a quick tangent?
Yeah.
My life goal is for monogrammed candy.
Yeah.
Like that's all I want in my life now. Like if I can like achieve that, my life will be perfect.
I'm glad that you brought that up, Sly, because also, like, Kate's jumping the gun here. Like, this guy is, her stepfather is related to, well, soon to be stepfather, is related to Armand the Third, if I remember correctly. Right?
That's his uncle, I think.
Why wouldn't he
related.
why wouldn't he have the monogram candy every time he visits the house, It's butterscotch. Who doesn't love butterscotch?
Share my theory about the butterscotch.
Go for it.
So I picked this up on the second time watching, and maybe this is what they want us to think. I'm just dumb for thinking I'm smart for figuring it out, but either way, they have that fencing scene, right?
Yeah.
Where ends where Kate basically gets him to reveal that he was lying. He is a really skilled fencer and was pretending about it. And immediately after that, offers her the butterscotch, and she like freaks out because she's like, "Oh, that was at Armand's house where he was killed, right?" And didn't they say that Armand was stabbed? Say that, or
yeah.
Like, remember Jack stole the Ronin sword from the Thing. A little obvious. What I was thinking on the second time is like, this Jack basically doing what Kate did to him, where he's like, if she recognizes the butterscotch, then that tells me that she knows
Yeah.
that what's his face was killed.
Interesting.
That's the second time I rewatched it today before the show, and I thought about that. I'm like, is this did he do that on purpose? Because I'm like, I was thinking the first time, he's telegraphing all his moves. This is the most evil acting dude I've ever seen.
Right.
But that, I thought, was that intentional for him to realize that this is the Ronin right here.
My theory was that they were trying to set up the swordsman as who killed Armand as a misdirect, and it would actually be her mom.
Yeah.
So that was my theory.
Yes, that's also.
But I could see that he was trying to see if Kate knew something she wasn't saying.
Right.
That's interesting.
And
I like that.
If I remember correctly, his facial expression is like he's smiling and he's like interested to see what
like
she's
smirking.
He's smirking, but he's interested to see what the look on her face is, because the look on her face is like, holy shit. Yeah, so you might be onto something, Evan. You might be onto something.
I can't not trust the guy with that kind of mustache. I mean, like, he's done nothing wrong. That's a quality mustache he has.
All the more reason to not trust him.
I mean, he's got everything else. If he had just the mustache, then obviously, like, Dick Dastardly had just the mustache, Ruben. But he's got the full thing going on. So it's like, oh, I've trusted dudes in this universe with the goatee before. So, I mean, obviously, what can go wrong here?
Look where that led you.
So, that is all the questions I have for this. So, we are going to be going into plugs. So first off, I want to thank you guys, everyone on this show, for joining us this evening. Slide, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I cannot wait to continue listening to MC University. It's so fun. You and Mario have just such a great time. Like it's easily
Yeah.
it's so great. So
It-
I wish you all the I
it-
wish y'all all the success with that. It's so much fun.
Thank you. It's been so much fun to make.
I'm ready for Ghost Rider. I think that's what I'm most excited for. Is to see what y'all think of Ghost Rider. Because Nicolas Cage gives a perfect performance in that movie. But it's neither here nor there. So Evan, thank you for coming out as well. I've been trying to get you on the show for a while. Glad to finally have you. So it's time for plugs. So what would you like to plug for everyone out there?
Me first?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
What would you like to plug?
So if you want more Marvel thoughts from me, you can obviously find me on Point in Progress for MC University with Mario. That's been awesome. This Friday, I think it'll be like 5 Pacific. We're doing a special extra credit episode talking about the first 3 episodes for Hawkeye. And you can also find me on Stark Radio every week. And for that, we're doing the Hawkeye after party, and that is with Liz, Alexis, and Marissa, and we're having so much fun with that. So you can follow that to see more of my Hawkeye thoughts going forward.
Definitely gonna check that out. Evan, what you got to plug?
I don't do much content like this about MCU or Marvel, but on my Twitter account, you'll occasionally see me talk about stuff in between rants about Louisiana sports teams. One thing I just want to plug real quick is this company I'm working for called Tiger Air. If you work at a job where you have to wear a hard hat, what Tiger Air is doing is making tiny little fans that go inside it and blow air on you to keep you cool during the day.
That's pretty cool.
It's a startup I've been with for about a year. We're doing some pretty awesome stuff. We have it for football helmets too. That's a much smaller market, but if you play football, go ahead and buy it. But you can find the company in my Twitter bio, and my Twitter is on the screen here, so you can do that. Check out our website, and we should be selling those real soon. So that's what I've got going on.
Ruben, what you got?
That's a very good question, Eric. I wasn't prepared for this. I thought you were going to go first. You could find me at That Guy Tuesday on Twitter and Instagram, if I remember correctly. December's going to be a busy month. We got Spider-Man. We got some other stuff happening in my personal life. We got my birthday that week of Spider-Man. Oh my God, it's going to be great. Guys,
Something real personal going on, not really going on for the channel or anything, Ruben. Like, all right, this is what I got going on.
Well, you asked me what am I plugging, so I'm telling you what I'm plugging.
I'm plugging my life.
Yeah,
Here it is.
my life. Come join it. Get a front row seat. But no, we are. I have some stuff planned for the end of the year. I want to kind of do like a holiday party, if possible. I don't know how that would work, but I could probably figure something out. Maybe include that Mario Party holiday stream. We'll see what happens with that.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah. On to you, Eric. Where can people find you?
I am Eric C. Ginn on Twitter. Find me. I'll tweet about literally anything, kind of. Sports, MCU, video games, all that stuff. Baby pictures, all that. Ruby has grown an inch, Ruben.
Wow.
She's grown an inch, and she's 12 pounds now. So she is an absolute unit.
What was she before the 12 pounds?
The last time
I know you're not supposed to ask a lady.
Last time we weighed her, she was, I think 10.3. So the doc is very impressed with her weight gain.
Okay.
Her favorite thing to do is to headbang into her own spit up. So that's what we got going on right now.
Okay.
Typical.
Yeah. So, as always, everyone, thank you for coming out onto the show and watching the show with us. We'll see you next week as we discuss. Actually, it's a bit of a weird one right now, Ruben, because we're trying to figure out this whole thing where how can we, do the 2 Spider-Man MCU movies before No Way Home. It's a whole ordeal. Make sure to follow us on Penultimate Conquest for more news about that. But until next week, I got one thing to say to you. Excelsior.